Hello! How are y'all doing tonight? Woo! Everyone got their vaccination cards? Thank you so much for being here, though. The biggest audience I've had in the last year was about 15 people, so this is a nice improvement. Push these things on, right? Yeah. 15, by the way, the worst number for stand-up. Because it's not big enough to really get a good laugh. But there's enough people that standing up here, you can really be like, dang, they all hated that. Anyways, I should probably introduce myself. My name's Kevin, he, him, his. I'm a senior year physics major. Why do I always do my intros like this? I have no idea. Was it ever in any doubt that I was a physics major? Probably not. But anyway, yeah, physics major, hashtag quirky. And get that joke? It's fine, don't worry about it. But if you did get that joke, something's wrong with you, and you should be a physics major. Being a physics major is fun. You get to ask yourself the big questions, like, what if I was an econ major? Why is the entire class crying? The question I always like to ask, how did we get stuck with the basement of Anderson? You know, like, at some point they must have been like, hey, I have an idea. Why don't we put the physics labs next to the structural supports? That sounds good, right? Physics homework is a time, too. Last year, I've been having a really hard time motivating myself, so I've adopted something called the Pomodoro technique. It's where you split your time into 25 and 5-minute chunks. So, like, watch some Netflix, do 5 minutes of homework. Homework, you just kind of loop that until eventually you give up and go to bed. Meanwhile, all this stuff keeps happening in the world, you know? It's not always bad stuff. Sometimes it's just weird stuff. Like the Josh fight. The Joshes from all over the world came to Lincoln, Nebraska to beat each other silly with pool noodles. It was a real thing, Google it. Yeah, they were all just like, hi, I'm Josh, nice to meet you. Hi Josh, I'm Josh. Have you met my friend, Josh? Actually go by Jacob. Get the fuck out! This is a Josh pit, damn it! His name wasn't really Jacob, he was just Joshin. Okay, moving on. Are you guys following the recall election in California? Because that shit was wild. There was one guy who campaigned with an actual fucking bear. Just like standing by, yeah, you see that? It's a great video, look it up. He's actually the guy who lost to Newsom in 2018. Apparently since then has done some reflecting and decided that the crucial weakness of his 2018 campaign was a lack of bears. And honestly, I think he should have done more with the bears. Like, I think they should have been at the debates. Just like, yeah, my opponent makes a good point there, but I just like to remind him that I have a bear. Okay, is that relevant? I mean, you just ate Caitlyn Jenner. Good point. But anyway, I really think we need to consider cutting the parks budget. Seriously? You want to say that to him, huh? What? Say it to the bear, Gavin. Yeah, recalls are weird. I think it's amazing how many sort of strange, avoidable scandals manage to come up in American politics. Like, remember the time Bill de Blasio ate pizza with a knife and fork? It's like, what are you doing, dude? You represent New York City. You gotta know your electorate. That's why in Colorado, we give each candidate 3 kilos and push them down the mountain. That's the qualifier! So lately, I've started to reflect on all the bad habits I've developed during the pandemic. I'm kind of worried about some of them, you know? Like, an out here pedestrians more than oncoming traffic. If you're rustling in the woods, I'll be like, oh, thank God, it's just a bear. Wait, shit, it's the campaign bear! He's not vaccinated! What I think is probably the most concerning instinct that really we've all developed is the way we respond when a friend starts choking. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you'll be out eating dinner and they're just like, you're like, fuck! You better be suffocating right now. They got their hands on their throat. And you're like, no, your face! Cover your face! Yeah, I miss normalcy. Still don't think it's a word, but I miss it. I think it's going to be interesting to see what kind of stories they tell about COVID when this is all over. Like we'll have Love in the Time of COVID, or Among Us, the musical. But what I am most excited for is when they start doing Shakespeare adaptations set during the pandemic. Tybalt! Foul Montague, I bite my thumb at thee! All right, I want to leave you guys tonight with one last story. It's a fun one, I promise. No COVID, no politics, just a treasured Carlton memory. It's the story of the strangest thing that's ever happened to me while doing homework. So freshman year, I lived in this dorm. Let's just call it Busser. So it's sitting up, one thing you should know about Busser, it has very thin walls. So I was at my desk doing this Chinese homework. We have to record ourselves reading the textbook aloud, and they grade us on tone and stuff like that. Some of you know what I'm talking about, and all of you are angry right now. But so I'm doing these readings, and I started to hear noises from the room next to me. It's my neighbor and his girlfriend enjoying themselves. And the recording is picking up all of it. But it's due tomorrow, so I gotta keep going. I'm thinking I can't really submit this. It gets graded by my teacher. I don't know what else to do, so I gotta shut him up. I knocked on the wall. That didn't work, because that's not the loudest banging. Half an hour later, they were still going strong. So I had to fall back on the best thing I know for interrupting sex. Physics. Thought about the scientific method. What can I do there? I tried the knock, that didn't work. I tried whale noises, that was no good. But I kept trying things, and they kept trying things. Until eventually, I discovered the holy grail of cock blocking. Mormon sex ed videos. I'm Kevin, we are Queens of Comedy, thank you, good night!